New Super Mario Bros. Is it a game? Is it a series? Who's to say? Hey, I'm Dragon Eel. Welcome back to my undersea grotto. Have you ever played one of these games? Stupid question. Of course you have. Everyone has, and if you haven't, you're lying. Whether it be playing a couple levels on your DS at the airport, discovering you hate your siblings on the Wii, splashing the cash and showing that you missed a big balls on the playground with your 3DS, or clinging onto hope with a Wii U. We don't talk about that one. That one does not count. The new Super games became hell-bent on integrating themselves into your household during the late 2000s to the early 2010s across 4 titles in 7 years, which people seem to think was just too quick. Maybe a bit unfair if you ask me. I mean, after all, there were 2 more games in the same time frame at the very beginning of the Super Mario series. But people claim those games all felt very distinct from one another. They look nothing alike, all have different art styles. Yeah, because one of them was the first damn attempt. They were basically banging rocks together when they made this. I don't think they intentionally had all these games look different, they just kept realising the last one looked like ass. But by 2005, they'd basically perfected the Mario feel. Why would they need to change anything? But because of this, people tend to look at these games with, what's the opposite of rose-tinted lenses? Just constantly getting dragged through the mud. Their reputation has been shattered. Sure, they all share the same art styles, but does that really mean they're all carbon copies of the same game? Congratulations, ma'am! 2 healthy newborn twins. They're practically the same thing, just chuck one of them out. Not in the slightest. There's actually plenty to love about each of them, and while, yes, even at a certain point I begin to lose the ability to defend some of them, all in all, they still hold up as some of my fondest of the 2D games to go back to. So knock knock, who's there? Let us take you to— that was disgusting, I'm so sorry, I don't know why I did that. Let me take you to the place it all began to see why New Super Mario Bros. Was so revolutionary. Welcome to 1992. Wait, hang on. Where the latest entry in the Super Mario series is— To add a little context, the birth of Nintendo was on TV screens. All of their big Mario hitters ran on this big chunky box, or as the French might call it, a console. But when they wanted to spread their silly little Italian to the streets, they dipped their toes into portable gaming on the Game Boy with Super Mario Land. It was unfortunately a little bit of a downgrade from their last works. So they went back to what they were doing before. History repeated itself, they tried a portable game again. It didn't look the worst. At the very least, the designs and graphics looked about as good as they did in the prior game, but there just wasn't any, that. Yeah, being stranded on Nintendo's only handheld system at the time meant that as much as they tried, these games just couldn't live up to the console ones. And when Miyamoto and his posse discovered 3D gaming, it was all over for handheld Mario. Until they got bored. Sometime in the early 2000s, for whatever reason, the boys decided to go back to their roots and take all that they'd learnt from the 3D games, the movement, the enemies, hell, even the graphics, opting for some 3D models now instead of sprites, and finally create that next step for the 2D Mario games. And they nailed it! One of the first things you'll notice heading into a level in the main game, Mario game, is the music. It goes so damn hard. It sounds really retro, it's got a very blocky feel, all entirely new tracks too. Keep that in mind. One of the best overworld themes in the entire series, ? And without a shadow of a doubt, the best castle theme of them all. You hear this? And you know something's about to go down. But moving Mario along, we come to find that not only has he got all of his classic controls, but his moves from the 3D games have been translated over as well. We can now ground pound, triple jump, and wall jump, just like you could in 64 and Sunshine. No dive, long jump, or spin jump, but let's be real. With how tight the platforms are, you'd never be using the first two. I mean, what button would it even be allocated to anyway? And for the spin jump, you'd have to just toggle left and right on the D-pad over again? No thank you! But we don't need them. Having just these 3 new moves added to your set makes this game feel as smooth as butter to run through. It lets you explore so much more of the levels, especially the underground and ghost house ones. Those feel like they're the whole reason the wall jump even exists. And ground pounding often serves as a test of your skills to recover star coins. Yes, for the first time ever in a mainline 2D Mario game, we have spendable currency with 3 of these big coins scattered throughout each level. They range from pity placements, just making sure you have at least 1 per level, to being really quite challenging, making use of unorthodox tactics to collect them, making you really mess around with Mario's moveset, or using level obstacles and enemies to your advantage. Now, what will you be spending these on? Well, on each world map, there are a ton of these star signs scattered about, most of the time unlocking whole new levels behind them. After you've beaten the game, you can even buy different backgrounds for the bottom screen. That's so neat! But most importantly, you'll be using your star coins to access Toad Houses. First appearing in Super Mario Bros. 3, these little huts are chances to snag any power-ups you might need, or some extra lives. Red houses present you a quick revolving block with the 4 main items of the game, and the giant yellow ones always and only contain a Mega Mushroom. But the green houses contain a small minigame where 6 blocks are shuffled with plenty of 1-up mushroom cards inside of them, but 1 Bowser card too, hitting which will end the game. These are honestly some of the most fun bonuses to come across in Mario game, especially when you're low on lives. It can be damn tense trying to avoid Bowser, and then so satisfying when you get a perfect score with a maximum of like 20 1-ups. But let's go back to talk about the other 2 houses and talk about the power-ups of this game. One of the most underwhelming selections according to most people. We've got the Super Mushroom, Fire Flower, and Starman all returning from almost every game since '85, and new inclusions, the Blue Shell, Mini Mushroom, and Mega Mushroom. If you ask me, not a bad range at all. Let's start with the most underrated power-up to maybe ever exist. The blue shell allows you to duck down and retract into your shell, making you impervious to enemies. Sprinting for a short while will let you slide endlessly around it, taking out anything that stands in your way, but you'll bounce off any vertical surfaces you might hit, and the cherry on top, it lets you swim faster. Why? I don't know! We never see Koopas in underwater levels, so I always assumed they just sink to the bottom, but apparently they're very adaptable. I mean, makes sense, they would be amphibious. I love the blue shell. I'm surprised it hasn't appeared in more games. It's way powerful once you get the hang of it. Speaking of powerful, the Mega Mushroom grows Mario to a ginormous size. He almost takes up the whole screen. In this form, you can crush blocks, enemies, pipes, even the flagpole if you can reach it in time. Oh yeah, this power-up's on a timer. Completely understandable. Can you imagine being able to hold this for an entire level? There'd be no challenge! So then, what's the point in even having it? Well, I think it's mainly just a chance to gain more 1-ups. See, the transformation comes with this bar at the top of the screen that'll fill up the more damage you cause, gaining more lives as you go, but the problem is, not all levels are designed with this sentiment in mind. Not to mention, there are less than 5 natural Mega Mushroom blocks in the whole game, so I can see why this one might get a bit of a bad rap. One that I will never understand the hate for though is the Mini Mushroom. Complete opposite effect of the Mega. You shrink down half the size of even small Mario, and you will now only take 1 hit to lose a life. But you've got a way higher jump, you can run on water, and you can fit into tiny areas only accessible to you. A really fair trade-off if you ask me. 2/3 of these power-ups definitely deserve more respect. Halfway through a world, we'll also be introduced to towers, acting as smaller, easier build-ups to the main castles at the end of a world. It's easy to forget this is where they were standardized into the series, not to be confused with fortresses, they're completely different things. Towers are always structured vertically, as the name would imply, making use of more platform-heavy designs than enemy-based ones. And at the end of each tower is a fight with Bowser Jr. Oh yeah, this is gonna be epic, his first step into the 2D games. Oh, he's dead. Okay, well we get to the first castle and oh my god, it's Bowser already! The Bowser! Okay, this is gonna be tough. He's dead too. Oh, Jesus, he's really dead. See, the bosses in this game are interesting. The tower bosses are always just a Bowser Jr. fight. Mostly he'll just run and jump straight at you like an idiot, but every now and then, Nintendo remembers to pull his little bib up and changes his attacks, which include hiding in his shell, which you can't jump on, and throwing Koopa shells at you. These fights aren't too bad. I kinda wish they were all like this, because paired with the arenas you battle him on, some of these can take a good couple attempts to nail down. The main bosses though, all completely different, and fit the themes of their respective worlds very nicely. Almost. World 2, sick mummy guy who attacks you then hides off screen to attack again. World 3, giant ass fish that attacks you then hides off screen to attack again. Hey, wait a minute. World 5, PT Piranha? Sure. Who attacks you then flies above you to attack again. Wow, that one was so different! Yeah, sadly they all follow the exact same battle pattern, so it's down to their actual attacks to be the challenge, and luckily, some of them do work in that regard. Mummy Pokey spits these web-looking balls at you, plus the rate in which he exits and enters the ground can be really sporadic. Monty Tank adds another cannon to his ride every phase, launching out more and more bullet bills, sometimes even hiding down inside the tank for protection. And Lackey Thunder zaps you with strikes of lightning before swooping down to batter you, and as the name implies, sometimes he throws spinies. See, some of these bosses are really cool, some of the best in the 2D games, and it really makes you see why people cherish them so much. But then you fight the cheap skipper and his damn goldfish put up more of a challenge than he does. But the bosses aren't everything though, because the levels proper here are some of the most impressive concepts we've seen up to this point in the whole series. We've got one where you're hitting switches to alter the landscape, one that's basically a roller coaster on ice, one taking place entirely on a giant wiggler's back, one where you get stuck being chased by Yes, a lot of these ideas will be used again by later games, but their introduction was here. Each of the first 5 worlds in the game are home to their own cannons too. You always have to find these via a secret exit within a level, and doing so lets you blast a couple worlds ahead if you're finding the current one boring, too difficult, or just want to speedrun the game. And I know technically skipping worlds has been a feature in plenty of games before, but they were never in the form of cannons, so shut up, this game invented it and it's new! And that's about it for the best bits of the main campaign of the game. The fact I've talked about it for this long is worrying. I wanted this to be a shorter video. But that's not even the whole package, because lo and behold, Mario vs. Luigi. The answer to all the bored children in the back of the car's problems. A simple as hell mode at its core, but one that you could just play for hours. 5 completely unique looping stages, one objective. Collect as many stars as you can and make sure the other person doesn't. The stars have plenty of spawn points across each stage, and nabbing one resets any damage done to the block, so it's constantly keeping everything fresh. Collecting 8 coins will spawn a random power-up at the top of the screen. I mean, you could get your hands on a Mega Mushroom and flatten the whole stage, racing after your opponent, but they could also grab it from above you. This side mode, this tiny little extra, this is perfect. And quite simply, it was never replicated again. And as if that wasn't enough, Nintendo got bored and ported all the minigames from Mario 64 DS and swapped a couple out for brand new ones. Pretty cool. The ones they repeat from the previous title are at the very least enjoyable, and the new ones, well, they're even better. A truly amazing package, even to this day. The level designs range from introductory to damn, I'm actually having a difficult time here. The side modes give a ton of entertainment, and you can play as Luigi by holding down the shoulder buttons on the main menu. 10 out of 10. It wouldn't take long for the guys to realise, holy shit, we struck gold! And that was very apparent as the company's next 3D game, Super Mario Galaxy, while incredibly impressive, even to this day, just didn't sell as well as New Super Mario Bros. Did. And so, in 2009, we were blessed with New Super Mario Bros. Wii. But they couldn't just make the same game again. Oh, no. They had to pull some insane cards out for this one. The main gimmick? 4 idiots at the same time. Yeah, if it wasn't apparent even on the boot-up screen, then you'll definitely notice it in the menu. This game is just begging to be played with 4 people. The most players ever possible in a mainline entry so far. Heck, the only game with multiplayer so far. And what an incredible choice of characters we've got too! Okay, that's not fair. To be honest, there's only one flaw with this character roster. We could already play as Mario and Luigi before, though now any single player experience or player one in multiplayer is locked purely to Mario. Don't make me do it, Nintendo! So with 2 extra slots to fill, what could they have really done? Wario and Waluigi? I don't really think the general public want to endorse whatever they have going on every time they play. So they went for a Toad. Smart choice, he's been playable before in Super Mario Bros. 2. The good one, that is. And the 4th option? A Toad. Yes! Here's the thing, Mario and Luigi, yeah, they're pretty similar, just different coloured costumes, but could this not have been Toadette? Oh wait, I forgot, Nintendo are sexist at this point in history. Women can't play games? Jumping into a game, we learn that on top of sexism, they were right on that nostalgia hype as just as the gang are celebrating Peach getting closer to death, just a while longer, Mario, then you can finally relax. Bowser Jr. and the Koopalings attack! The Koopalings? Like from the games before? Yeah, the late 2000s to the early 2010s were just drowned in things you've seen before, but in this context, it kind of works. It has been 300 years since we've seen these guys, and to have them envisioned in the modern day with new attacks and battles, they're just great, I don't know how else to put it. They blow the DS bosses out of the water with some great variety in their setups. And as an extension of that, Bowser Jr. only shows up a couple of times, so his fights have much more impact. He's always using his clown car and they're actually fun this time. We get a little Kamek boss as well, which might just be my favourite in the game. Not including the final castle level, of course, because Nintendo just went ahead and gave us the best Bowser battle to date, and it still has not been beaten. While we're on the topic of fighting, what do we, the players, have to mow down enemies? Well, like the DS game, we have 3 brand new power-ups, and these 3, unlike the Blue Shell Mega and Mini Mushrooms, are very highly regarded by fans. The Ice Flower allows you to throw ice balls at enemies to freeze them in a solid block, from which you can throw them to break through blocks, string together combos on other enemies, or you can use them as platforms to reach areas you normally couldn't. The Penguin Suit is somewhat of an evolved version of the Ice Flower. It gives you the same ice throwing ability, but it also allows you to walk on iced surfaces without the slip you'd normally get. You can also slide along ice or water by sprinting and ducking into a belly slide which can take out enemies, and if that was not enough, Mario and friends have quote-unquote improved swimming. Right, now you see, with the Blue Shell in NSMB, your swimming speed was simply sped up, which I think gives you the utmost control you can get, but back in the day, there was another item that allowed improved water physics in the Frog Suit, which completely reworked how you control. The Penguin Suit acts a lot more like that, with the characters doing a quick stroke, not like that, any direction in the water. I don't like it. I never got the hang of it. Honestly, anytime I'm heading underwater, I always try to swap the power out for something else. I think they tried to make it just a bit too similar to the Blue Shell, thinking they had to just throw all the gimmicks into it. But our third and final power-up is the Propeller Mushroom, and it is pro-perfect. Eh? No? Okay. By far the best of the bunch according to you guys. Thank you for that, by the way. You can fly like a whole screen's height into the air and sort of slowly wobble down to correct a jump or reach high up places, but if you think you're safe or want to kill some turtles, you can spin down like a drill with the same force as a ground pound. Mwah! Just what the doctor ordered. That's a weird doctor. And you know it was a good one because Nintendo keep making reference to it. These 3 make great additions to Mario's arsenal. It's nice that the majority of them aren't just big, small. And just while we're on the topic of Mario's moveset, 2 new moves join it in the form of a mid-jump spin. This allows you to make a gap just a bit further than usual, and the spin jump, completely different. This one's performed from the ground and it's basically just a higher regular jump. You'll mostly be performing this one by accident, not gonna lie. As for the multiplayer moves, you can grab other players and throw them either into pits if you're an absolute sociopath or across ledges if you're actually a good person. Grabbing players while the Starman ability is in effect also lets you share the power-up with them, which is way cool. And the ultimate power play. With 2 or more players, if you all ground pound simultaneously, you can create a massive shockwave to screen wipe all the enemies in your vicinity. You'll basically never pull this off because it's impossible to work as a team when the urge to lob each other into the void is just so strong, but when you do occasionally pull it off, damn is it satisfying. Now, levels, designed this time for 4 players, which means they're all a bit emptier than before. Very big, long sections of just vast space. Don't get me wrong, with 4 players, this space is always filled out with the whole gang, but on single player, it really just feels a bit less engaging than the DS's level design. Like I mentioned with the 2006 game, a lot of the design elements are copied over to the Wii. Sewer level? Check. Giant wiggler level? Check. Levels where you're on a lift that's constantly moving up and you can only move it left and right? Check. There are some new standouts here. 5-5 sets the entire thing in the sky riding on the backs of these jumbo rays that fly in and out of the clouds. And this one, 7-2, is the signature chain jump level, but it has all of these floating bubbles that you have to parkour between. It's really cool. We do have a lot more on our hands here. You're forced to go through all 8 worlds as opposed to DS's 6, with World 4 and 7 being unlockable secrets in that game. There's also a bonus 9th world, with all the 8 levels being homages and souped up versions of each world before only being unlocked after collecting every star coin from their respective worlds. Such a cool extra. Obviously secret worlds have been around before, they're not brand new, but it's been a damn while since we've seen one. But leaving the levels alone for a sec, I do think the music just seems to be a bit weaker here. Is that me? Am I the only one who thinks this? The DS had that chiptune sort of vibe, and the Wii goes for its signature, more bubbly sound. Take a listen to these variants of the same track side by side. It just feels like there's a certain flair missing in this new version. We do get a brand new castle theme, new sand, beach and forest themes, but the remixes of NSMB's tracks just don't have the same energy to me. A little while into the game, 3 levels to be precise, a toad will come along for a yap on the world map before getting toad napped. It slaps this icon onto a whatever the scientific name for the blue circles are, indicating that a toad is trapped within. Entering these levels, you'll eventually hear the muffled cries of the toads, and hitting a certain question block will release them. You've then got to carry them to the goal to save them for a little reward. Why the hell did I go out of my way to do all that? Sure, you get the 3 1-ups if you do it well, but that's not an awfully big reward, especially how easy they are to come by in this game. It's just a little extra something to do. It's not like you have to or anything. Shut up. Toad, shut up! Shut up, for God's sake, fine, I'll rescue you. We've also got the return of enemy course world obstacle battles. Did I just have a stroke? No, occasionally on the world maps there are set areas with an enemy wandering around them, and bumping into it will activate a small battle with plenty of enemies and 8 toad-marked balloons, grabbing all of which will reward you with 3 super mushrooms for your inventory. The enemy courses? Really good fun. They pad out the gameplay just enough and they're all engaging to play on. The inventory? My word. It just... What a quality of life improvement. The ability to activate any power-up you've won from Toad Houses before a level gives you so much creative control. It means if you need, say, a mini mushroom to access a pipe for a star coin, you no longer have to go all the way to a level that houses one. You can just shrink yourself down then and there. And again, it's been done before, but it's been upgraded immensely by allowing multiple of the same item to be stored, up to 99 of each. On the topic of your inventory, the toad houses have been shaken up a bit. Our red toad houses no longer contain a simple rotating block, but an entire wall of panels, each hiding 2 sets of power-ups, Bowsers or Bowser Juniors. You gotta match a pair of each for their effects to work, meaning you could walk away from this minigame without a single mushroom to your name. However, the payoff for getting a full house is insane. That'll give you a whole selection for your inventory. The Mega Mushroom houses, what with the power-up no longer being in the game, are replaced with the Star House, which is way overpowered. Being able to begin any level with the Starman activated, my god, you might as well be Superman. And lastly, the 1-up houses have been reworked too. You'll be placed with 4 cannons underneath a load of numbered balloons on tracks, and you've got to line up a shot to pop as many as you can. I don't think this one is much better or worse than the DS one. The maximum you can walk away with is a bit less than before, but it's more engaging to play. And that's it for the main game. A whole load more content off the bat from the DS game, but with varying quality. Good thing they brought back the Mario vs Luigi mode. They did not, in fact, bring back the Mario vs Luigi mode. Instead, we have 2 brand new modes, Free-for-All and Coin Battle. What do they boil down to? Just the levels from the story mode, but you see who got the most coins by the end. Starting with Coin Battle, we do actually get 5 custom levels built for this mode, the same number as the Versus mode. Sounds alright, doesn't it? Wrong! The key word to explain the main mistake here is levels. Custom levels. Not small looping arenas like in Mario vs Luigi, these ones have item boxes, star coins, and even flagpoles. Why? This takes away from the incentive to scour the level for coins when you can just end it all right there by touching the flagpole, and it especially doesn't help that some of the levels are bloody auto-scrollers! That would be like if Mario Kart's battle mode, you know, the mode famous for putting you in small arenas to duke it out, just used long, oversized race courses instead. See? People absolutely hate that idea. But to compensate for the potential failure of this feature, at least they added every single other course from the story mode. Just play the damn story mode! Were they ill while creating the side content for this game? And you might be thinking, well, surely they must have struck gold with the free-for-all mode. If by gold you mean a heaping pile of the same goddamn nothing, just the levels. Again! Not even the specially made custom levels for Coin Battle either, just the levels! What was the point? I think they wanted to compensate for NSMB having 3 modes and scramble to put something together at the last minute, because with the main game, you can tell they went above and beyond to try and expand upon everything that was great with the game's predecessor. Unique bosses for every world, new inventive level gimmicks, world map minigames, incredible power-ups, but they really put no afterthought into the bonus content. Which they should have! The whole selling point was the multiplayer aspect, and sure, the levels are designed perfectly to accommodate that feature. But that's it. You could play both of the DS's side modes with multiple people, so when you look at the Wii package as a whole, it probably gets dragged down quite a bit. 2012! Let's check in with our good old pal Miyamoto. Hey buddy, don't you just love giving these games cool subtitles that point to what they're going to be about?
No.
Oh, well, do you at least love naming them after the system they're on, sort of making them the defining Mario of that console?
No.
Well then what do you love?
2.
I'm gonna get this out of the way quickly. New Super Mario Bros. 2 is a soulless cash grab of a game and is the worst in the sub-series by a long shot. I honestly don't think I have a lot to say about it compared to the other 3. Right as we boot up, we notice a glaring issue right off the bat, with our modes consisting of solo play, co-op play, and coin rush. And the nightmares came flashing back. Let's try and see if there's anything good in solo play. Opening cutscene, blah blah blah. Hey, time to see who the main villain is for this story. Oh, it's them. Okay. I mean, those guys were pretty cool in the last game. That's not the worst thing in the world, right? Right? How do you take some pretty good boss battles from a previous game and just make all of them worse? See, the first castle boss in the Wii game, it wasn't impossible or anything, but the ground moving here made it so that Larry's movements could become unpredictable. He could get locked in a shell cyclone between two sections of the floor, but he could be released at you suddenly if you're not careful. Our first battle here against Roy is in a room as simple as the first Bowser Jr. fight on the DS, and that was a tower boss. Jumping on Roy makes the walls close in like a block further, but he still just goes back and forth. I'm still gonna jump on the damn lizard with ease. Honestly, the tower fights are more impressive for the most part. 2 to 4 of these dino guys, Resnors, stand on these elongated question mark blocks which you have to hit to defeat them. You can outright attack them by jumping on them, and the ground crumbles away after a little into the battle. These are infinitely more engaging than the castle bosses if you ask me. Again, they're not impossible, but one slip up here will cost you a lot more than in a Koopaling fight. And don't even get me started on the final Bowser battle. They tried doing the whole "whoa, look how big Bowser is now" thing again, but you just climb up a bunch of repeating platforms instead of treading this whole obstacle course like you did before. But what about the levels themselves? Are they any good? Nah, they're absolutely fine, but they have rarely anything that memorable about them. Maybe like the Behemoth level sticks out to me, but it's just a reskin of 8-3 from DS. That's the problem with the levels, they're all using the same tropes and music we've already seen twice before. Like, the music being remixed was a cool touch in Wii, but like I said there, it still introduced its own new tracks. But here, all remixes of remixes. It sounds virtually the same as it did before. At least you can differentiate quite a difference in the instruments used between the DS and the Wii, but here, all they added were bars. The underlying tune is the exact same as it was before. This is so lazy! You might get some new music for the secret worlds in this game, which I'd just like to bring the total of main worlds down to 6. 6 worlds? Sure, New Super Mario Bros. Only had 6 worlds if you played the game straight, but the side ones were still worlds 4 and 7. Here we go world 1, 2, mushroom, 3, 4, flower, 5 and 6! How could they have possibly messed up this bad? And because of the shorter world count and the secret ones being comprised of just any spare assets Nintendo had left over, some of these world themes are crammed into one! Did you really like the Rocky Mountain levels from the previous games? Well, here's your one and only level that uses that theme, tacked onto the end of the Cloud World! Whose idea was this? The game's already lazy enough. Why did they think it would be a good idea to— I think I just answered my own question. To further proof that they were just chilling back and waiting for the paycheck on this game, here's the all-new and exciting power-ups in this entry. The Gold Flower. What if Mario's fireballs were made of gold and made big explosions on impact and turned anything in their blast radius to coins? I don't know, guys. I never wanted to know. But anything they give, they can take away, as the ability fades to that of a regular fire flower at the end of any level. I'm just lost for words. Oh, and next, new power-up is, one we've seen before. Yep, the Super Leaf, transforming you into Raccoon Mario, lets you fly once you've built up enough speed, slows your falling, and lets you tail whip enemies and blocks. About 3 levels total make use of the flight ability, and you'll almost never be using the tail move for anything major. But it was just such a good addition that Nintendo made a brand new power-up inspired by it. Oh! Hey, look at this brand new enemy that I made. I call them Invincible Bob-Ombs. Who's ready for Invincible Bob-Omb Battlefield in Super Mario 64 2? The Invincibility Leaf. It's the Super Leaf, but now the game feels sorry for you for succumbing to its level design. Wouldn't any other game be proud of that? Oh man, this game's so hard. The level's just so challenging. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Here, have a refund. It just makes you invincible after a few too many deaths. It's single use too, like the gold flower. It goes away at the end of the level you suck at. You can tell Nintendo really were in their creative peak during this era. And they even threw some of that creativity into the Toad Houses. Remember how fun it was to play a little minigame for some items? It made gaining each one feel rewarding, right? Well, wouldn't it just be so much cooler not to do that? Okay, I know they got rid of the inventory system, but the DS still managed to make getting a power-up compelling enough. This is lame! What about the 1-up houses though? Arguably, they did have a cool idea for these. The setup is that a load of 1-up mushrooms will spill out of this pipe for a period of time, and you've got to hit this boxing glove when they pass over it to collect them. The problem though is that it's almost impossible. The track the glove's on moves so fast it almost never lines up with anything when you need it. A real swing and a miss, if you don't mind me saying. But what about the big gimmick to this game? The DS's was that it was a return to form, 2D Mario for the next generation. The Wii's was all about finally getting that multiplayer mayhem everyone had been begging for years. The 3DS? Anyone hate the poor? Judging by the artwork, it looks like these two certainly do. Coins! They are everywhere. This game just wants to stuff as much currency as it can down your throat. Is there a story reason for this? No. Is there a gameplay reason for this? Not really. You'd expect with all this coin collecting there'd be some kind of in-game shop to spend it all at, but no. There's nothing like that, and they still don't really do anything other than giving you an extra life. So why collect them? Well, that's obviously so you can change your game's title screen. Twice! Yep, the entire gimmick falls completely flat on its face because Nintendo couldn't even come up with one good reason to have it in the game. Rings will turn enemies into gold, coins will fall from wherever they can, there's a load of get-rich-quick schemes, but they don't do anything to the game. And that sucks, because that's about all there is new to the solo play, and for that matter, co-op play too, as it's just the exact same game with 2 players. Which, don't get me wrong, is a cool achievement. I mean, multiplayer on handheld for the first time is pretty cool, but where's the fun versus mode to duke it out against one another, or at least compete for some kind of higher score? Don't look at me, I didn't design the game. But what about Coin Rush? Could it possibly be New Super Mario Bros. 2's saving grace? It has a name based off of that, what do you think? 3 randomly selected levels from the main game play out and you just collect as many coins as you can. I'm going to hurt someone. Now, fortunately, later on that year, Nintendo would release a bunch of DLC packs for Coin Rush, including actual custom levels tailor-made for the mode. Hell, eventually they gave up with the coin aspect completely and just started making challenges that only an elite hacker could complete. But unfortunately, I'm not here to talk about any post-release updates to these games. You'll find out why in just a bit. So that kind of leaves the game with not a lot to offer. I remember even when this game came out, I was only around 10 years old, and even all the way back then I thought, damn, do I really want that? And listen, 10-year-olds are susceptible to making poor financial decisions. I should know, I own 3 of the Super Mario Microland sets. I'm a first-hand victim. So the fact even I didn't want the flashy new game is quite telling. But that's completely fine. Not because I can forgive the game at all, it's still garbage, no. It's fine because we had a good game coming out the exact same year! And boy did Nintendo have an adventure for you! I unironically love this game. Or at least I used to. Again, back when it came out, I wasn't even out of primary school yet, so let's take off those rose-tinted glasses and see what we're dealing with this time. Right away, this looks promising! What the... I want to see what this is all about! Could it be a new mode? Oh, I'll be coming back to you later, my friend. Story mode it is! Mario and the gang are doing the usual, absolutely sod all, and oh, look at the time, it's 10:00. Peach gets... reverse kidnapped? All the playable characters instead get flung out of the castle by a giant mechanical Bowser hand. Sure, Grandpa, let's get you to bed. No, it was real! I was there! And Peach's castle becomes Bowser's domain. Okay, Shiggy, Colour me invested, from which each of the Koopalings disperse throughout the kingdom. Yeah, fine, what did I expect, except is that a Lemmy Cooper airship? I'm easily swayed, I beg no one ever enters a court hearing with me. So World 1. It's World 1. Acorn Plains to be exact, and wait, is this... We haven't been here before, have we? No, I don't think we have. And booting up the level... What is that melody? Holy moly, is that a squirrel? Yeah, for whatever reason, it almost seems like there was some sort of mandate to pump 2 Mario games out in 2012, so they made the first one, which was basically the same as the previous game, but their actual energy and passion went into this game instead. Don't get me wrong, the level design is Mario, but it actually feels like they're trying again. There's about as much new stuff in here as there was between the jump from 2006 to 2009. I mean, look at it this way, New 2's grand idea of enemy design was exhumation, whereas New Super Mario Bros. U brings us first-timers in the Waddle Wings, Goombrats, Grolls, Piranhapods, Dragon Eels, Let's Go, Fliprus, Mecha Cheeps, and targeting Teds. It might not seem like a lot, but they make a damn difference to the levels. The power-up selection brings only 2 new additions to the table, but the table is a damn banquet, let me tell you. The largest item selection in the sub-series, 9 in total, but before we look at the new, we've had a bit of an upgrade on a certain pre-existing mushroom. The mini mushroom can now run up walls. Is it overpowered? Maybe slightly, but you're not going to be able to use this absolutely everywhere, just for select star coins. I think it's fitting for what we could already do with the mushroom. And the big newcomer to the game is the Super Acorn. We sure do love the word super. Turning you into a flying squirrel, it's sort of a lessened version of the propeller mushroom, but with a few new abilities to boot. With the acorn, you have a much higher spin jump for those who took their degree in spin jumping. It allows you to cling to walls for a couple seconds, which is really useful for quickly thinking of a way to correct an ill-judged jump, and it lets you soar through the air, similarly to the Super Leaf, but covering way more distance this time. And while doing so, you can propel yourself even higher, sort of like a double jump. This will cancel all of your momentum though, and you won't be able to glide fully like you could. It's a bit like the wobble of the propeller mushroom. One of the greats, honestly. It's a shame it's been wiped clean from the series ever since. Our second power-up is the oh-so-fantastic P-Acorn. It's the Super Acorn but white, but it doesn't simply just make you invincible. Instead, it gives you unlimited propelling capabilities, which doesn't overpower you at all. Lots of these levels are still in enclosed spaces, so it won't change an awful lot, but the best part is, it's rare. There are very limited instances it can even show up. The main one of these is with Nabbit. We're all pretty familiar with this sneaky purple rabbit as a playable character by this point, but in his conception, he was actually an enemy. In random points on the world map, Nabbit will rob any given Toad house and hide into a level. Following him activates a minigame where you have 100 seconds to chase him down through said level, catching him granting you a P-Acorn. So cool. Just a fun little optional task every now and then for a unique power-up if you need it. Bringing us nicely into the world itself. Yes, world, not worlds. This entire game is a globe-trotting adventure back towards Peach's castle. Now that's not to say the game isn't still split up into distinct world types, it absolutely is, back to the standard 8 of them, thank you Shig, but one of the coolest things it opens up is freedom of choice. How exactly do you want to get there? In a cool little bit of a twist, after World 2, you get to choose which World 3 you want. And aside from the environmental whiplash on the world map, the game does pretty well to blend the passing between worlds. From Sparkling Waters, the beach world archetype, instinct would tell you to go through Soda Jungle, the, jungle world next. But finding a secret exit that will lead to the Rocky Mountain world takes you to a level that crosses both of their themes. That's the thing I love about this world map. Sure, the world themes are as clean cut as a baby booster, gee that's a topical reference, but the secret levels that branch two areas together take a blend of both world elements. Nintendo didn't want you selecting areas to travel to via a pop-up menu either. Oh no, they want to keep you immersed. If you want to take a shortcut, hop into a pipe and blast there instead. Now you do still have to select the zone you want to land at. It's such a neat idea that does actually help in making it feel like a whole connected world. Another thing that helps build that feeling are the baby Yoshis. Ah yeah! See, people complained that you couldn't take the Yoshis outside of their respective levels on the Wii, which I get, you could do that all the way back in the 90s. But it means they would have had to throw a load of fruit in every other level for the new gimmick, and it would have just looked odd. But the baby Yoshis, well, they don't need that, so when you find them in certain areas, you can keep them as long as you like! You have to stay holding them throughout entire levels. If you let go of them, then they could very well get left behind. They come in 3 different colours and forms. The balloon ones can inflate like a balloon, go figure, and can be inflated in the air up to 7 times before they start to deflate. This is by far my favourite baby Yoshi. It's the one you basically always want on you. I mean, bottomless pits do show up a lot. You're gonna want as many precautions to make sure you don't fall into them as possible. The next one is the bubble baby Yoshi, which can blow out bubbles that will turn most enemies they engulf into coins. It's not as useful, but still a great addition to have, no less. You can also bounce off the bubbles like tiny platforms, but it's not a very useful feature. I mean, I only just remembered you can do it while editing this video. And lastly is the glowing baby Yoshi, useful basically only in dark levels like underground caverns and some ghost houses, as it can illuminate the entire room for a brief period the same way a Starman does. But because it specifically thrives in those environments, it does make it feel a bit more important than the bubble one. Right, bosses. Like I alluded to at the start of this section, each castle level ends with a fight aboard a Koopaling-themed airship. You don't play through the actual airships, they're only one room large, they're just used as a bit of a set piece, which I'm perfectly fine with, but how do the fights themselves stack up? The DS's were pretty good, the Wii's were great, the 3DS's made me go... These ones are... second best? Maybe even on par with the Wii? See, the thing is, most of these Koopaling fights are actually upgraded from that game, but the tower bosses are all replaced with Boom Boom. He's... certainly here. Nintendo tried to make him interesting by having Kamek cast a different spell on him each time, making him jump, fly, grow giant. It's at least trying to switch things up a bit, which I do admire. But one random tower, for whatever reason, has a sumo bro for its boss, and you know what? It's one of the best ones. Just the simplicity of its attack, but the small headroom you have to battle it means it can give you quite a hard time. And I'll tell you something I really appreciate with the levels in this game. The difficulty spike can be insane towards the end. Pendulum Castle, anyone? Oh, yes please! Yeah, I know, this is the special super hard 9th world, but look at some of the 9th world levels from Wii. Only a couple of them I could definitively say were hard, but here, man, I'm lucky to get to the end of these. The battle with Bowser's sick, but funnily enough, I didn't actually make any notes of it, so I'm just gonna riff here. What the hell is wrong with you lot? Worse than the battle from New Supe 2, yeah? Yeah? This one's dope! You got father and son joining forces for the first time since DS. You're actually battling them instead of just running away from the fella like we have done for the past 2 games. There's actually different phases to it as well. You've got Bowser's retreat into his giant shell, the bit where he shoots lava into the air and it's all raining down on you. You've got his standard attacks, you've got Bowser Jr. fighting off on the side. Does it beat the Wii's grand finale? No, absolutely not. But that bar was so incredibly high that falling second place is by no means a bad thing here. And that's just about all the new for New Super Mario Bros. U Story Mode. An absolutely stellar blend of brand new elements and ideas, while also updating older concepts in a way to keep them from feeling stale and overused. But guys, gals, folks of all, here we have it. The perfect solo player side content in the entire series, period. Challenge Mode! It is the missions mode from Mario Kart DS reincarnate, baby! 5 categories and dozens of challenges in each. I'm jumping right in. Starting off, we've got Time Attack. Does what it says on the tin. You get mugged by a clock? Nah, you actually have an allotted time frame to complete a mix of levels plucked from the story mode and original courses for each of the respective categories. But where the Wii and 3DS games had basically any level from the main game, whether they fit their modes or not, all of the ones for these challenges are perfectly picked depending on the challenge you have to complete. For Time Attacks, they're the levels that are the most straightforward shots to the flagpole, and they are a blast to run through. But that would just get repetitive after a while. You could do that anytime you wanted in the story mode. So, they add a little extra criterion to some of them, forcing you to complete them as Mini Mario, defeat all of a set enemy along the way, the perfect little bit of spice to prevent this mode from ever boring you. And this is just the first category. Coin collection! Not coin battle, that's its own thing. No, this is sort of taking New2's gimmick, but giving it, what's that word? Oh yeah, purpose. The original courses are laid out in such a way for the coins to be directly in your path, but still with obvious room for errors. And some courses throw in that little extra again, defeat all the waddle wings in this area with Flying Mario before you hit the ground. But some go completely against the gimmick. You're not allowed to collect any coins on some of these, and they immediately became some of the most popular challenges on the YouTube scene, so much so that people still make their own versions of it. 1-Up Rally is entirely based on the feature that bouncing on multiple enemies can earn you a 1-up, so most of these are just small arenas with a load of Goombrats, Koopas, Bullet Bills, the lot, and you have to continuously bounce on them without landing on the ground to rack up a ridiculous amount of lives. And just to be different, there's one single challenge that just throws you a bunch of Starmans and you get to have a rollicking time toppling everything in your way. It's not the hardest by any means, but it's an absolute blast. The 4th category's got to be my favourite though, and that's Special. A mix of all sorts of challenge types. Some 1-up style ones, but then some that are like, get this Monty Mole to safety, defeat Larry Cooper without touching the ground, survive certain situations for a set time. Fittingly, like with Mario Kart's missions, some challenges do repeat, but funnily enough, I don't give much of a rat's ass. This is like hours worth of extra content, unique extra content at that. And finally, the 5th and final challenge type is Boost Mode, made purely to justify you. Using the touchscreen on the Wii U gamepad can spawn boost blocks you can use as platforms. You can do this in the main game too, but I didn't mention it there because, come on. But here, it's actually put to a pretty effective use. You've got to make your path and run along it before the blocks disappear, all while you've got to make the rest of the path ahead of you. Actually pretty neat, I can't lie. All of these would have made fine content enough, but once you'd done one, you'd sort of never really need to play it again. Introducing medals! Completing each challenge perfectly will gift you with a gold medal, but taking penalties, collecting coins on coinless runs and the likes, will knock you down to a silver and then a bronze medal, and trust me, you will not be getting most of the golds first try. Perfect incentive to replay these, trying to get that golden record on each of the categories. And that was all just the first side mode. I think I might cry. Getting into the multiplayer modes, yeah, you can play both of these with up to all 4 characters. Boost Rush, not to be confused with the Boost Challenges, are auto-scrolling run-throughs of the courses from the main game, no originals in here sadly. The aim of these games is to reach the goal as fast as possible, mainly by collecting coins to speed up the screen scrolling. However, if you collect too many, then you won't be able to see what's coming ahead, the screen will scroll too fast. You have to complete them in packs of 2 or 3 levels at a time as well, meaning, if you ask me, this is another perfectly serviceable mode. It's not just, hey, do you want coins? It's, hey, do you want coins as long as you collect them wisely and responsibly? It's a real good balance of strategy and skill. And of course, how could we forget the sub-series standard at this point, Coin Battle. You can probably already guess my thoughts towards this mode because unfortunately all the levels from the story mode are once again available here, but we do once again have exclusive coin battle courses. Not bad, not bad. You've even got the option to split into teams this time around. That's actually a neat addition, and if you really want, you can use the gamepad to create your own custom coin placements and then set your mates free to hunt them down. You know, For what it's worth, not bad, fellas. Not bad. What a great selection of side content. And imagine, just imagine if you could play them as, oh, I don't know, let's say yourselves instead of Mario, Luigi, and Oh my god! You can play as your Miis in overalls. Best game in the series, 11 out of 10. Give me New Super Mario Bros. 3 now, right now! How anyone in their right mind can call this a bad game is beyond me. It might take the spot for my second favourite of the bunch. Wait, that's the bunch? Yes, it is. Luigi U is DLC, it doesn't count, and Deluxe is a port. I don't care about it. I haven't even played it. This is the New Super Mario Bros. Sub-series, and it's my special little guy. Sure, it has its flaws. Its giant golden flaws. But it's also got Mario vs Luigi, Nabbit, awesome Toad Houses, bosses better than some of the 3D ones, challenge mode. My god, do I love these games. But I am okay that they've passed. They had their time in the spotlight, and I relished in it, but their absence gave way for Super Mario Bros. Wonder, a phenomenal game, and if this is the direction that we're going in heading forwards, then I'm happy to leave New Super Mario Bros., New Super Mario Bros. Wii, New Not You, and New Super Mario Bros. U in the museum on their beautiful pedestals to be remembered. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really did want it to be a lot shorter than it was. It's still almost an hour long. I guess I just had more to say than I thought I did. But thank you all for staying with me along the way. I've had a real blast again looking at the polls in between this video, which, my god, you really all hate New Super Mario Bros. U. That is like everyone's least popular answer on all of them. In this time, we hit 1,000 subscribers. Somehow, you guys are absolutely insane. I have made 2 videos and we've got that far. That is ridiculous. I love you all. Thank you so much for the support. I won't keep you any longer. You have given me enough of your attention. All I will say, next video, I'm going to be talking about Mario Kart again. Back to Mario Kart. So, you know, look forward to that. I hope you all have a fantastic day and stay sparkling.